when this idiot atheist reads Bible verses, we're going to do one about when this Jesus character, you know, says that, you know, a prophet is not without honor in his own home. You probably can see that big as zip. Looks like I can. But anyways, it's actually mentioned twice in the Gospels. One where I'm going to read it at is from Mark chapter 5 verse 4, but it's also mentioned in Matthew 13:57. And for some of you wonder why people don't really say too much about Islam, actually there is. You can go to the Quran Reloaded and Logic. They do a lot about Islam. It's because generally YouTube will not monetize any videos that talk about Islam in a negative light. Nobody really wants to hear the negative stuff about Islam. And the religion pretty much speaks for itself. Just like all religions, pretty much. You don't really even need to debate it, just read the holy books. But anyways, we're going to start with, I'm sorry, it's not chapter 5, chapter 6. Matthew 13:57, but also Mark chapter 6. We're going to read from 1 through 4, or 1 through 6. And he went out from thence, and came into his own country, and his disciples followed him. And when the Sabbath day was come, he began to teach in the synagogue. And many hearing him were astonished, saying, From whence hath this man these things? And what wisdom is this which is given unto him, that which such mighty works are wrought by his hands? Is not this the carpenter, the son of Mary, the brother of James and Joseph, and of Judah and Simon? Are not his sisters here with us? And they were offended at him. But Jesus said unto them, A prophet is not without honor, but in his own country, and among his own king, and in his own house. And he could there do no mighty work, save that he laid his hands upon a few sick folk, and healed them. And he marveled because of their unbelief, and he went round about the villages teaching. Now, usually when you hear this in a church and everything, they spin it as, Jesus doing miracles, and people who knew him didn't want to believe and all this stuff. And I was watching the Atheist Experience. I want to be honest, and I've said this before. A lot of times I get these ideas from reading this Bible, and there are other times where I'm watching other channels and they mention stuff. John Loftus, Atheist Experience. You should check him out. He has a couple books on Amazon. But anyways, he mentions this, and I'm not going to mention everything he says, but he brought this verse up. And check him out on the Atheist Experience. But basically, it's this question here. Okay, you have Charles Manson, for example. Let's not bring up Charles Manson just yet. Let's say, for example, me. Okay, if you're hearing people talk about I'm doing miracles from, England, Australia, California, wherever you're from, you're going to doubt it, but not as much as the people that are working with me, living around me, family, friends. They would be like, oh, that's just a bunch of bullshit. You know why? They know me. They know I can't do miracles. Why would all of a sudden, after almost 45 years, I'll be starting doing miracles? The people that were around this Jesus character, grew up around him and everything, knew he was loony. Think about it. Why else would they not believe him? Because if he was really who he claimed to be, they would be the first to believe. Think about that. They would be the first to believe him. When you believe someone, think about it. If you had a brother or sister, you see them right in front of you turning water into wine, turning a stone into one of their favorite toys, and stuff like this as they're growing up, and they're going to school, they get all A's, and you see, they're not opening a book or anything. They know all this stuff. In fact, they're debating with the teachers and the college professors and all this stuff. Unless, of course, they're taking gender studies or that stuff, because then you have to agree with the professors or they're going to fail your ass. Because that stuff is made up. But anyways, we're not, just like this stuff is made up. Think about that, though. You would start wondering, maybe there's something to this person. However, none of these people believed him. And, we hear from people all the time, well, Jesus didn't do all those miracles. Why would his disciples lie? What would they have to gain? I don't know. What did Muhammad's followers have to gain? They claim that they, split the moon in half and rode into heaven on Pegasus. I mean, come on. And would they be willing to be put to death for it? Muslims are willing to blow themselves up for their religion. They believe it just as much as you do. They believe they're garbage as much as you believe you're garbage. It's myth. A lot of people have died because of this mythology. Two things are destroying our world. It's mythology and political ideology. People are so ingrained in their political ideology, they don't want to listen to other people. I read comment sections where people say, well, I'm not going to listen to a conservative fascist, like all conservatives are fascists. They don't have no clue what a fascist is. And there are far worse, these particular people saying are far worse. Because, you know, we all know people that are too far to the right, too far to the left are some of the vilest, nastiest people you'll ever meet. You know, you have that Milo Yiannopoulos, whatever the hell his name is, you know. He purposely tries to piss people off, and I believe in free speech, so he has a right to say it, and I would let him say it, and I would defend his right to say it, because that's what free speech is. It's just be nice to people who could find people to debate him. But anyways, it doesn't matter. As I'm saying again here, let's go back. I apologize for the little tangent. But you gotta ask yourself, why is it the people that knew this Jesus didn't believe him? Why don't you ask yourself that question? Those of you that believe this stuff, why don't you ask yourself? You can find it in Matthew 13:57, and you can find it here in Mark 6 verse 4. And read the whole thing. And another thing that's mentioned in here, and I watched it on the Atheist Minority, her channel. It's a pretty good channel, you know. How many disciples did Jesus have? It says 12. Okay. Judas betrayed him, right? And then killed himself. How many disciples does he have after that? 11. So how is it after the resurrection, Jesus appears to the 12? And remember, this is before they cast lots and chose the other Miles, or whatever the hell his name was. Who were the 12? Paul even mentions in 1st or 2nd Corinthians, I think, also that appear to the 12 after his resurrection. But Judas killed himself, right? So how can he appear to the 12? It has to be 11. So you can't say it's an error, numerical error. They just got the number wrong, because it's several times from several people. There's just way too much stuff in this Bible to make you want to believe it. I mean, do you ever... And let's go ahead now on the Charles Manson. Because you know you have all these miracles people say about this Jesus. Did you know that the prosecuting attorney, Charles Manson, had a hard time getting people to testify against him because they thought that Charles Manson could read their minds, could fry their minds, that they actually said they saw him flying and doing a whole bunch of weird crap. They thought he had superpowers. They actually believed he was Jesus. Most people don't think about it when they read these things, or the Quran, and there's a reason why. I don't know why. I wish I did, but there has to be a reason. There is a reason why. I saw on the website. It explains it pretty good. You know, basically why liberals. I'm not trying to say all liberals. I'm not liberal or conservative. I don't identify as either. Tend to support Islam. It's because, you know, they like to support the little guy, the underdogs. And Islam is pretty good at lying, because that's what they do. That's what religious people do. Christianity does it too. That's why, you know, that's what they do. You know, they will lie to defend their faith. There are Christians that will tell you that. You know, no evidence will convince them. They actually come out and say it. Ken Ham said it during the debate between him and that Bill Nye. Well, Muslims are the same way. They will lie. They lie. These liberals are falling for it. They fall for their lie. And the Muslims come in and do what they're going to do. Check out Iran, you know, the revolution in '79. I'm part of Iranian. But, you know, you should check it out, you know, the same thing. The liberals helped them out a lot. Feminists and all these people, you know, wear the burqa. Oh, it's empowering. It's empowering. Yeah, it was empowering. Then the Muslims took over. And one of the first things they did, they forced those women to have to keep wearing those burqas, and they cannot take them off. So be very, very careful. Not without honor, except in his own house, his own country, and among his own kin. Think about it, his own kin, his own family. Gee, I wonder why. Do you Christians ever wonder why? This sucker is a gold mine. I tell you, the Bible is a gold mine of verses you can read. I got a few more one more verse. I'll do that a little bit later. Bye.